Good evening. Thank you for joining. Today's topic is about accounting 2 pathways, progress, and professional growth. When I announced this program, people started asking, are you going to talk about your experience in and doing the profession? That's not going to be the topic today. You can ask me questions in which I have built up the firm, what are the pitfalls I've faced, what are the challenges I have, all those things we can come into the question and answer section. What I would like to talk about is, when I say accounting 2 means what is the accounting profession today. Now, I just want to tell you what are the various courses available in the market, and then how do you think about it before jumping into a conclusion to take accountancy as your career. So I'm given to run an overall picture of the scenario today and what is sought after profession in the world today. I touch upon that before I get into the accounting profession, and why I call accounting 2 is that to tell you what are the dimensions it has taken over the years, what is the position in which we are now getting into the accountancy profession. There are 10 most limited opportunities degrees in the world. I touch upon that. I will brief you why you should not go into that. If you have passion to do it, that's a different ball game. I tell you, passion is different from economically. You have to be successful in life. And also the top 12 high-paying jobs in the world today, as on today. And then fastest growing jobs in 2025. What is sought after in the market today? And then a lot of the various degrees which are available in Singapore, which you can also see today, because all of you always in the handphone, all the informations are available, and you can also Google it to find out. Nothing is difficult today. In my days, it's always difficult. One time, one of the clients was talking to me that he wanted to discuss with me about goodwill. He told me, Mohan, I see you in the afternoon. First, I go in the morning to the library, study about goodwill, and then I'll see you in the afternoon. Today's scenario, you Google and find out what is goodwill, it pops up. Or even you ask ChatGPT, artificial intelligence, it gives you what is goodwill and which area you want to talk about goodwill. Information is in your palm today. Then I go into the rest of it about what are the certification courses available, which you can add on to the existing accounting qualification if you're already an accountant. And then also touch about the NIVIDIA story, SNIPPETS. What I feel in my life, I've seen that you should know and understand. Is AI a boon or a bane, and most commonly used AI in the world? So I go into this, briefly touch upon to make you understand all these things before I go into the accounting too. People may think I have a passion to be a photographer. I want to be a photographer. I just want to study general studies, theology, history, anthropology, fashion design, English, literature, fine arts, performing arts, philosophy. Basically, there are 3 degrees in the world which people always go after, which is accountants, doctors, and lawyers. Why people choose accountants, lawyers, and doctors? Parents will be doctors, children will become doctors, parents will be a chartered accountant. They would have built up a goodwill and a brand name, tradition, boutique, family office of accountants. These are all sure and certain professions where everybody needs on a day-to-day basis. If you become a photographer, there may be 1,000 photographers in that. You may have passion to do it, but what happens is only 1 or 2 or maybe 10 of them will be successfully doing well and making money. All the other photographers will not have a future. I'm not going into the rest of the 10 because I want to give you an idea that you have to be exceptionally exceptional. to become a successful photographer. But if you are an accountant, you can have a good living, either be an accountant in a company or become an independent director because you've got all the information to go through, or become a practicing accountant. You will be successful in one of the three. So please be careful in choosing the profession in which you would like to be. Guide the children, if you are parents, to know that the standard profession like accountants, lawyers, and doctors are much sought after profession, which is going to make them have a good living in life. Now I touch upon what are the top high-paying jobs as on today. You all know about it, which I was talking about doctors and CEOs of companies and investment bankers. You know, investment bankers, they are typically different from the normal bankers. What they do is they do mergers, acquisitions, IPOs, all these activities they do. And these people are guaranteed a minimum income of 250,000 and above. AI engineers, you know pretty well today, you see in the newspapers that all the software companies, high-tech companies are retrenching staff because of AI has come in. Coding is no more required to write a software because AI has come in. People started following the software. I mean, the AI itself writes the software for them. So you don't need coding people to write a software and come back with it. Corporate lawyers, pharmacists, health managers, IT security managers, petroleum mining engineers. These are the top. This is not my views. Please understand. These are the views I picked up from the internet, from the Google, whereby what are the professions which are much softer and high-paying jobs in the world today. Fastest growing jobs also predicted in 2025 and 2030, which is big data specialists, fintech engineers, AI and machine learning specialists, software application developers, security management specialists, data warehousing. Do you look at it, all of them are in IT and IT related services. If you look at the top 6, these are all in IT and IT related services. Autonomous and electric vehicle specialist. I was talking to a guy. He was telling me, if you are specialist in a combustion engines where it operates in petrol, the technology is entirely changed now. Today, EVs have come. China is leading in the electric vehicles manufacturing. More than 12 factories and China manufacturing, churning it out and selling all the type of EV vehicles. Charging is the issue. It takes longer time, but today fast chargers have come and they are doing it faster. Today in the newspaper, if you look at it, BYD, one of the leading manufacturers of EV vehicles in the world, from China, they have come out with dual mode cars under BYD 6. Today's newspaper, you can see it. What they talk about, I'm surprised. It has got a motor engine and also, it can operate on petrol and also in EV, electric. I was surprised what type of engine is used. It's a combination of both combustion engines and also the engine used for electric vehicles, but the technology has changed. I can only see or know about the car which is available in the market. So what I'm saying is technology is changing every day. What we have to do? We have to update ourselves. Knowledge is power. Keep on learning. Every day you should have 1 hour learning, which I keep on saying in all my talks. And communication skill has to be improved. That communication skill will only come if you keep on reading and reading more information and keep on discussing with people whom you know. And in a conversation of 10 people, you should be the leader in the communication and conversation. All these things you need knowledge. How do you get knowledge? Because by reading every day. And not only reading every day, that also gives you knowledge about the developments which are happening around you, and you will be master in knowing and applying the same thing in your day-to-day work also. Then all the 10 jobs which are fastest growing jobs in the world. So you will not miss out if you are updating yourself in any of these things. Lifelong learning is important, which I keep on telling you. And then learn all those skills which are developing in your field of line also makes you to be forefront in doing things in the organization. As I was telling you that a lot of courses are available. If you want to add to your existing qualifications, and if it is happens to be related to that, start doing it also. I was reading an interesting article which I want to tell about it before I go into the next slide, is that a lot of big companies now, what they're doing is they are asking all the senior staff to come for a second interview. I mean, they are employed in the company as in a position as senior manager or some position, but they have been called to come for a second interview into the same organization. You know what they ask you in the second interview? They want to know whether you are update yourself to the expectations of the modern world today, not only in AI, and also on all the technologies related to the field in which you are working in the organization. If you are successful, you have been made to stay back and work in the same organization. If you are not updated yourself, either you are depromoted or asked to leave the organization so that they can recruit suitable candidates for that. This is happening a lot in US big companies. I was talking to a few of the Indian companies to tell them, please start doing this exercise whereby nobody is staying in for 15 years and 20 years and not updating themselves and not doing things what is required for the world today, which is not going to be good to the organization. The organization is not going to grow. There are a lot of things happening in Fintech, DeFi and token economics, digital tokens, NFTs. I'm going to touch on that later on when it comes to accountancy profession. So you have courses available to update yourself to know what is happening on the Fintech industries also. Sorry. And also cross-border taxation. This is if you already have a qualification, if you are providing tax services to your clients as an accountant and also expertise in tax, try to learn on cross-border taxation, which helps you to restructuring. Companies come to you for restructuring and mergers and acquisitions. All these areas, the cross-border taxation will give you with confidence, help them to advise and progress. The next one that I want to touch about is, you know, NIVIDIA. NIVIDIA is the very surprising in the world. This is the most capitalist company in the world. They are the manufacturing of chips in the market. It's a US company. The gentleman is from Taiwan. He's a US citizen now, lives in US. Do you know what is the capitalization of NVIDIA? It is $4.15 trillion. Today is the biggest company in the world. It is they call Magnificent Seven companies in the US. NVIDIA is the most highly capitalized company in the world today, number one. If you add up all the 15 companies in the second to the 15, the capital has not total up together has not exceeded $4.15 trillion. Then you know not only it has got a major share, it has got a lion's share in the world in the chip manufacturing, and they are the number one capitalist countries in the world. You know, what is the point I want to carry here today? This is one information I want to talk about NVIDIA because the gentleman runs it. At the age of 15, Johnson Wong, who runs a firm, worked as Denny's dishwasher and waiter. Okay. What I want to tell you, what is the point I want to communicate to you today? The important point I wanted to come to you today is the first job is not your final destination. It doesn't define your future. If you look at Akshay Kumar, you know, the India actor, do you know what was his position when he started his career in his life? He was a cook in a ship. It doesn't determine what is his future and what is going to make him to define. So what I'm saying is your first job don't worry about your first job. That's a stepping stone for you to grow, to become a big man in the world. So that's the point which I want to tell you. And I also simultaneously want to tell you how he has built it up, the biggest company in the world today. My snippets have come. You may be professionally qualified and well talented, but making use of the opportunities to succeed is very important. The second thing is not to miss any golden opportunities, and to plan and execute golden opportunities is in your hands. These are all my snippets. These are my experience, which I want to share with you. You may be an outstandingly talented doctor. You may be an outstanding talented lawyer. You may be an outstanding talented accountant. What is important is that business has to come to you. How business will come to you? There are a lot of things I have to tell you. I have to speak on that topic alone, how to get business, because you may be very talented, that's only 50%. The other 50% is that how do you bring in business into the organization and how to deliver your the job which has been entrusted to you by a client, and run the show is most important in life. If you are in practice, you may be practicing as a lawyer or a doctor or an accountant, or maybe an architect also for that matter. What is important is that how do you run successfully a business? I want to tell you something important about business people. I always say a businessman is successful only if he's good in sourcing a product, buying at the best price. That's most important if you're a businessman. Selling at the best price so that you make a profit. There should be if your buying price is $1, you should have the capability to sell at $1.20 or $1.50 to, based on retailer or wholesaler or a manufacturer. What is important is that to sell it at a good price or the margin and make money. What is the third one, which is most important, is that you should know how to manage the finance. So all the three combined together makes a successful businessman. The same way what happens is you may be a very talented profession. What you need is the other half of how do you bring in business to your plate, execute that, make money, and then continue to carry on successfully your business. That's why they always say in entrepreneurship, if 100 business starts, second year, 50 will close down, third year, 25 will close down, fourth year and fifth year, 5 businesses will only prevail and continue to go on that. That's why most of the banks in the world doesn't lend to a new startup companies, especially if you start a new business. Even a traditional business you do, they will not offer you credit facilities. They will wait for 3 years so that you stabilize yourself and you are capable to run it comfortably, and they are happy to provide you the finance required for the company. Not only that, you have to build up a relationship with the bank, but they also look into that the company has got a track record of 3 years. Now I go into, I talk about the AI, a boon or a bane. People always ask me every day, is AI is good to human beings and so on and so forth. These also created by human beings. I was interviewed by I'm the patron of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of the Singapore chapter, and they have interviewed me. And one of the questions I want to read out to you, which was asked to me and the answer are given to me by them. How do you see the role of technology, particularly AI, in the future of accounting? Especially they want to know about accounting. I informed them AI is a game changer for the profession. It enhances processes and improves efficiency, much like the transition from manual ledgers to digital accounting. However, human judgment and decision-making remain irreplaceable. AI can support professionals, but it cannot replicate the empathy and strategic thinking that accountants bring to the table. It is about striking a balance between leveraging technology and maintaining the human element in our work. So, what AI I can say is that it doesn't have empathy, it doesn't have emotional intelligence to take a decision based on the situation. But it is very useful to the human being to take decisions or to compose things, make things faster, quicker, to analyze for you, to assist you, to help you to take a decision. I move on to the topic because I don't want to say that I'm going to be away from the topic. I move into the content of the accounting 2 profession. The fundamentals of the accounts have not changed. Every debit has a credit. I started my BCom in 68, 71 and then did my CA. I've done more than 45 years. What I read in BCom is that every debit has a credit. There is no change in the fundamental basic. Even today, if you are strong in accounts, you will be strong in business. You will be strong in passing entries in the books. You will be strong in taking decisions, advising clients also. That's what I've learned in my life. The fundamental basic principles of every debit as a credit has not changed. But rest of it has changed entirely. The way in which you present things, the way in which the new products, new way of doing things have come, the presentation of the financial statements, the definition you want to give for all the sentences and the words used in the financial statements, all have changed, and way of presentation have changed. The revenue source of income, how it is defined, have changed. Fair value has come. Risk-based approach has come. True and fair value has got a different meaning has come. So fundamentally, a lot of change has taken place. So I'm going to touch upon accountancy qualification globally. What are the qualifications available? What you can choose for? What makes you, what you should do and where you want to live? Oh, so many things have to be considered. And I also touch upon few countries and about all these professions and come back to you. And I also touch upon what is Singapore and what is the qualifications available. They have come out with the Singapore Chartered Accountant qualification. They also recognize other qualification, but they're promoting Singapore accountancy qualification because they want to breed more local accountants, chartered accountants, which should enter the field. Singapore being the third largest financial center and fourth largest forex center in the world, would like to build up quality chartered accountants. And then I will talk about what is happening on the ESG, environment, social, and governance, which is sustainability strategies and green economy, which the globe is moving to because of the zero emission. The earth is being affected. Then you have got conferences happening everywhere in the world on a yearly basis to tell what each country can do to promote ESG, which is a new word which is going around the world today, past few years. I'm going to touch upon how it affects the accountants, how the accountants have to embrace sustainability and move on in their life. And then I talk about also a little about India and the accountants. And then move on to what are the changes in the syllabus, because as I was talking about the technology change which is happening, up for the syllabus of the accountants have changed due to ESG and sustainability. How the syllabus has changed globally. Risk management and governance, which I was talking about, and also talked about the e-commerce, digital taxation, digital tokens, and I was talking about digital assets, how to account it for all those things. I'm going to touch upon it. I'm not going to go into the detail because my speech will not exceed more than 45 minutes to less than an hour. So these are the content for accountancy 2. The chapter 2, I will come back. I will go one after the other, touch upon that to open your eyes so that you have to start doing your own research to find out the interest in which you would like to know more about it. Then ESG reporting, what are the requirements for listed companies today? Impact investing. What is impact investing? I will touch on that. Corporate governance reporting, international financial reporting standard, what are changes happening? And then I'll talk about it, OECD, Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, what they are talking about, pillar 1, pillar 2. I will going to touch upon that because each one is a ocean to know about it. The various countries, the professional qualifications which are available, and the name of the countries, and what these qualifications are called, and the website addresses I've taken out and given you. I'm not going to tell you what is required, what is the entry level, and all those things. I'm not going to tell you this is a child display. You can go into all these websites to understand what is the basic requirements. Is there any mutual recognition of qualifications are available, which you have to look into? If you are moving to Australia, holding an Indian qualification, what is the additional things I have to do because of mutual recognition of qualification, what I should add, so that I will also get the due to mutual recognition of qualification, I also get the CPA Australia, so that I become a member in the institutions. All those things you can study in the website, and also I will touch upon a few of the important things which I feel is relevant for you to know about. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, the Institute of Singapore Chartered Accountants is talking about how to become a CA Singapore qualification. If you are local graduates, it's easy for you to get exemptions for most of the papers, and then you have a pathway to become a CA Singapore. If you are holding the other qualifications, they will also tell you what are the exemptions they give you. You can go to the website of the Institute of Singapore Chartered Accountants to get to know more about it. The same thing they're promoting in a bigger way because they want to breed more accountants. There's a good shortage of accountants in Singapore, and people are finding it's more a difficult thing to learn about to qualify as a chartered accountant. So they are now accepting non-basic accounting people also to come from other polytechnic and various diploma holders to join, become a foundation and professional members, and then study the professional qualification and obtain the CA qualification of Singapore. I move on to India, which they talk about the Indian qualifications. Very interesting to say. Women constitutes more than 30% of the members of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. It has grown from 8% to 30%. There are more than 425,000 Indian accountants are there. They are now present globally. There is a big number of Indian accountants working in the Far East, Middle East, US and UK. And also for people in India in remote villages, they can also use the portal to learn in a remote area, to learn on their own space and join the examination, write the examination and achieve. I'm also proudly talking about the youngest achiever at the age of 19, Nandini Agarwal, who has passed the CA examination and also gone into the Guinness World of Records of achieving and getting the professional qualification at a very young age. Same like the youngest chess player was recently won the chess match. I think he has also been recognized as the youngest world champion in the world by the Guinness World Records. Another interesting thing I want to talk about the Indian CA is that the time in which I was studying, the pass rate is 1 to 2%. Today, the pass rate for chartered accountancy course is 25 to 30%. So more members are joining, hopefully that they will be in a position to pass the examination. When it was 1 to 2%, when 100 to 120 people write in a center in India, imagine that only 1 or 2 people will pass the examination in that center. It was so tough, so difficult. Even people were not joining for CA course because to complete a course to come out, it may not be going to happen in a first attempt. It may take years to complete, to attain the qualification to be successful. So they were skipping in the olden days. Now the things have changed, times have changed, the pass rate has improved. So people are now joining and studying. Very interesting to note that more women are joining to study in this professional career. Now, as I was touching about, I only touched about India and Singapore. Now I'm thinking of going into the accounting profession, where what are the syllabus changes in throughout the world? If you're going to sit for the examination, what are the changes which are happening in the syllabus? Before I touch upon that, I want to touch upon a few things on the earlier, both Singapore and India. What are the things which you should know about it? The ICAI members write only one paper to get, because of the mutual recognition of qualification, they write only one paper to get a CPA Australia situation. Until 1982, the CA qualification was recognized in Singapore. After that, the CA qualification was taken out of the list. If you are living in Singapore and working, you are a member of the ICAI, living in Singapore, working in Singapore for the past 6 months, you are eligible for membership into ISCA as an associate member. What is the advantage of associate member? It enables you to join the courses which are available in Singapore, and then also try to enroll yourself for the QPA, which is Qualified Professional Examination in Singapore, for the CA, and then enroll yourself and get it. One interesting thing is in Singapore, when I was talking about Singapore, the Singapore was recognizing ACCA in the past. In the year ended 2018, they stopped recognizing ACCA qualifications. So people who have studied ACCA living in Singapore has become a member of the ISCAI, that's a Singapore Institute, prior to 2018 as a member. And if you have passed advanced audit and assurance, you are eligible to apply for a certificate of practicing membership. If you pass a CA examination in India, the certificate of practice also issued to you simultaneously. I've seen my friends, they frame not only the certificate which they have attained for the CA qualification, they also obtained the certificate of practice eligibility, which they also frame it. The Singapore style is there, where if you are a practicing member, if you have been issued a practicing membership, the practicing membership is renewed annually. When I say renewed annually, means during the month of December, you have to apply for your renewal of your membership, in which you have to state how many listed companies you carried out the audit during the year, how much of public entities like charitable institutions you have carried out, how much licensed Monetary Authority of Singapore's audits you have carried out, how much of other private limited companies audit you carried out, all those information you provide. Then you should have a 40 hours of continuous professional education in the various categories of professional education you carried out during the year. Submit all these things. Then they renew the certificate of practice for 1 more year. To be eligible to get a certificate of practice, you should have having a recognized qualification under the ISCA, followed by a senior level position in an accounting firm, completed 2,500 hours of carrying out an audit, meticulously kept the records of all the audit you carried out and the work you have done, to be submitted to them for considering to issue a certificate of practice. I talked about the renewal of certificate of practice, which is given for annual basis and which you have to submit the application at the end of the year. I also informing you that to get a certificate of practice, not only you are living in Singapore, the qualification recognized by them is accepted to them, followed by, at the time of submitting the application to get the certificate of practice, you should have had 2,500 hours of senior level audit service provided information to be eligible to consider an application to issue a certificate of practice. Now I move into the rest of it. One more interesting thing I want to talk about India is that now the RBI requirement is that all the companies which are set up under the ODI scheme, Overseas Direct Investment Scheme, as wholly owned subsidiaries, from August 24, all companies have to be audited if it is a subsidiary of the Indian company, even though under the Singapore regulations, if you are considered as a small company, because the definition of a small company is where the business is less than $10 million, asset is less than $10 million, less than 50 staff, any one of the two in the consistent of the past 2 years has not exceeded. On a group level, including the head office in India or any other subsidiaries you have, you are exempted from carrying out an audit. You can compile the financial statements. This concept is there globally. In the US companies also, there is a threshold of more than $5 or $10 million US. If you don't have that turnover, you don't have to do an audit. It is also there in UK, Australia, and New Zealand. It's not in India. Even smaller private limited companies, it's a requirement for you to carry out an audit. Even a tax audit is also there in India, but there is a threshold for that. In India also, you have Transfer Pricing Act is there. There's no Transfer Pricing Act in Singapore. You have only transfer pricing regulations which you have to comply with. So these are the additional information which I would like to share with you to be cautious when carrying out all the professional work in Singapore. Now, when I come to the technology changes which have been added into the profession, I've gone through the various accounting qualifications in the world and studied what are the changes which have introduced into the professional qualification. Interestingly, they have added data analytical, data interpretation, artificial intelligence, and so many things which are expected or required to carry out your professional work on this modern world of technological changes. I've also reasoned out what is the reason for adding all this into the syllabus. So you can go into my website to read all these things at a later date. Sustainability reporting, I also have 1 or 2 slides on that. I will explain to you in detail when I come into that slide. Risk management also there, because now fraud, understanding the customers' KYC requirements, OECD requirements of money laundering and terrorism financing, proliferation of industries where mass destruction of weapons being manufactured, funding, all those things. To avoid all these things, to save the world, save the community, all these things are happening in this world. So the rules and regulations have changed. New acts have come in. Singapore has introduced a lot of new acts to comply with OECD's requirements. That's why I'm going to touch upon OECD also. I'm going to talk about also, you please understand what are the changes or topic included, because each topic will take longer time. I'm already going to near 45 minutes, so I want to try to finish it in an hour's time and move on. And I want to have an interesting questions from you to enable me to answer to make you understand the profession better. When it comes to digital taxation, I want to tell you something. Usually, digital taxation take place in e-commerce, especially on the internet. OECD countries are responsible for coming out policies because more than 150 countries are members of OECD. The BIP 1, the BEPS Pillar 1, Pillar 2 are all the product of the OECD because they want uniformity of all countries, members of OECD to comply with. So that also helps them on a DTA signed between countries in the world, avoidance of double taxation between countries, and which also enables to have a uniformity of taxation of digital transactions. Singapore has amended the GST to include the digital taxation. Some other countries have introduced already, but they are waiting for OECD to come out with a regular common understanding between countries, which is not yet been released, which is in work in progress. I now move on to ESG reporting. What is ESG reporting? I was talking about environment, social, and governance. I was talking about emission, carbon dioxide emission in the world, which is making our earth difficult to live. What all the catastrophes is happening. You are seeing fires happening throughout the world, which is not the norm in the past. Deforestation is happening throughout the world, reducing the oxygen, increasing the carbon dioxide, making the earth to be more heater and leading to all the consequences, earthquakes, and so on. To reduce that, the countries have joined together to have a zero emission. Then they talked about carbon credit. Each countries are talking about carbon credit. If you don't create, we'll give you the credit. And then banks have moved into not to finance for fossil fuel industries, would like to finance those industries which are green economy industries. What is called green economy industries? They are all solar panel and then hydroelectric power, wind energy, which are all created without disturbing the atmosphere or planting more trees. All these things are considered as green economy. So what I'm talking about is that the accountants not only have to look into the FRS, they should also look into International Sustainability Standard Board, which has been created, which has come out with reporting of scope 1, scope 2, scope 3, like director's report, like the governance report, corporate governance report. You have to start giving you ESG reporting also. Sustainability report. Companies have appointed chief sustainability officers, CSOs, like CEO, CFO, and COO, chief operating officers, chief technology officer. All these new terms have come. You only heard about two terms. One is CFO and CEO. Now, lot of new terms have come, and corporate sustainability officers have been appointed. It is not possible for corporate sustainability officer to come out with a report. If the company has got 14 departments, all 14 departments have to come together to make out an ESG report because each department's contribution is required. So, good thing is that the ESG reporting has come only for listed companies. In short, they are planning to introduce to the downward companies which are supplying and trading with listed companies or multinational corporations in future. So they should also have the responsibility to have ESG reporting. This will come in future, in the years to come. So now I move on to impact investing. What is impact investing? You might not have heard about this word. You might have heard about investing in shares, securities, bonds, hedge funds, fixed deposit, savings account, gold, silver, metals, foreign exchange, forex, all those things. Now, the term private equities. Private equity means investing in private limited companies, either in the form of shares or debts. So now the family offices are investing on private equities also, because that's one way they try to diversify and put it into the private investments, which comes with investing in private equity funds or private equity directly or in debts. Now, impact investing word has come after the ESG matter has been discussed. Impact investing can come. What is impact investing? Investments made with intention to generate positive, measurable, and environmental impact along with a financial return. I was telling you earlier, investing in solar panels, investing in windmills, hydroelectric powers, forestation, and where companies use less water, save energy, less electricity. So these are all called, there's an impact on the environment, then it's called impact investing. Huge amount is going into that. $1.6 trillion as on 2024. All banks are focusing on impact investing because every country is promising by 2030 we'll make it as zero emission. Some countries promise 2050. Whenever they meet annually, each country has to promise when they are going to do it. You need a huge infrastructure change for which you need an investment. Huge investment is required. It is not possible for all companies to come forth to make that investment. But banks are moving towards that direction whereby the impact investing will create. They stopped investing in coal. DBS has announced we are not going to finance any more coal projects because huge amount of fossil fuel is coming. It is disturbing the earth. So they cannot achieve 2030 zero emission. So qualifications are available, degrees are available on sustainability strategies and green economy. They have conferences on that, courses on that. You equip yourself to be ready to assist and get opening in these type of lines. These are all one of the top sought after jobs which I was talking about to you earlier. Now ESG bonds have come. ESG investments lead to green bonds, social bonds, sustainability bonds, and subsequently linked bonds. All these things are available in the market. Now, I was talking about corporate governance report, which is already there for past 10, 15 years. But what is the reason for corporate governance is mentioned here. And also people who are responsible, board of directors are responsible to provide the corporate governance. You pick up any of the listed companies report, corporate governance report will be there. Sustainability report will also be there because it's a requirement to submit. Whether they're complied with the expectations of the standard board, may be lacking or may be improving, but people are trying to provide a subsidiary report also. Now I move on to IFRS and all these new terms used today about Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, digital tokens, CBDC. There are new standards have not come. The existing standards have to be used for these terms which I'm talking about. When I was talking about all these things and the new standard is all existing standards you have to be complied with. If I want to tell you about Bitcoin, which is a cryptocurrency, there are more than 1,400 different types of cryptocurrencies available in the market. You go into any other websites, they talk about all these things, all the different types of coins. If you have a bank balance, you can write to the bank to ask for bank confirmation. If you have a crypto, what is important is that they will not give you the bank confirmation. Sorry, they will not give you the the custodian will not issue a letter of so much of crypto you are holding. How do you do an audit? If your financial year ends in March or 31st March or 30th June or 30th September, you sit with the client, ask him to show the screen, take a screenshot of the closing balance of your crypto. Also check that it's the name of the company, take a screenshot, and then take a printout, and that's the way in which you can do. If some other methods are going to come, you can look into that. As on today, that's the way they come out with this. I don't know whether you are aware, even Bitcoin's fixed deposits are also available if you have listened to my talk on Bitcoin. You also have CBDC, central bank digital currencies. Central bank digital currency falls under fiat currency, doesn't fall under the cryptocurrencies. This is issued by the sovereign countries. Like China has come out with CBDC. A lot of countries are trying to come out with CBDC. I'm not going to the subject which I talked to earlier, which you would have listened to me earlier, and you can recover all my talks which I made you know about these various different types of terms. NFTs is very poorly performing today. I don't want to tell you one of these guys in Singapore paid huge millions of dollars for an NFT, which is not worthless now today, because NFTs is not much sought after today. I do not know what's the reason for that. And then now the new term, they're talking about family offices, where you set up, where people have 200, 300, 500 million dollars, even billionaires, set up family offices, get the tax exemptions, they carry out the audit. I have sorted out what are the relevant IFRS sections which apply and what you have to apply to get your audit carried out. I now touch upon the OECD Pillar 1, Pillar 2, and then move on. Pillar 1 is that allocation of taxing of profits. You know what happens is a lot of multinational corporations doesn't pay. They operate in 45 countries, but doesn't pay the fair tax in all the 45 countries. They make huge sums of money, but they avoid it. OECD come out with various means to do that. That's why they use the word BEPS, which is base erosion and profit shifting. And POEM has come, place of effective management. India has changed the Income Tax Act, which has talks about it. A lot of regulations have come on POEM. So you can look into all these things, or you can even find out from my earlier presentations, which are all available in my website, to know more about it. The definition of multinational corporation is 750 million euro. So it operates in more than one countries. Then only it is called multinational corporation. Then the OECD BEPS and POEMs, Pillar 1, Pillar 2 all will apply. Pillar 2 is nothing but uniformity of taxation. They don't want to, some countries, members of the OECD, charge corporate tax of 25%, 28%. Some countries charge 15%, 17%, 18%. The OECD come out with a flat rate of taxation of 15 countries. Now, each country has now to realign their taxation system for companies, in which case they have to decide how they are going to, whatever the tax they may be losing out for the reducing the corporate tax rate, so that they recover in other modes and means from these multinational corporations. Because you are aware that every country has their own budget, their own committed expenses. So the tax revenue is the major source of revenue for them to run the budget and carry out the economies of the world. Thank you. I've finished my talk. I've concluded within an hour's time. I'm happy and grateful to all of you for listening patiently to me. I'm happy and interested to take all the interesting questions which are going to come from you, where I will talk about the profession, my experience in carrying out the profession. You can also send out the questions. I'll read out the question and can come out with the answer. Good evening, sir. What inspired you to pursue a career in chartered accountancy? What has kept you passionate over the decades? Who is this asking this question? What's the name of the person? Oh, Vidya Rajagopal. If I tell the original story, you will be surprised. My elder brother, we are 7 in the family. My elder brother, who is 10 years older than me, did chartered accountancy. He did BCom. Previously, when I was studying CA, you have to be a accountancy graduate. Today, they removed it and put it as any faculty can come in. If you know our good friend Binay, he's not a commerce graduate. He is from biology or something. Later on, they change it that you need not be a. Later on, they change it that you need not be an accountancy graduate. So when my brother, elder brother, who is 10 years older, he did CA. Wherever he goes, he was looked after, he was praised, I thought he's the best profession I should follow. And he was a guiding light to me. So I blindly followed him and did the profession. And later on, I learned a lot and how to stabilize yourself and settle down yourself. Same like the NIVIDIA story. It's not easy. It took a long time. No, one thing I was telling you earlier is that being a professional and capable and talented person and then getting business and turn around and running it successfully is also another ballgame. So you have to learn both to be successful. A lot of pitfalls. I mean, to tell you the truth, I have borrowed money to run the organization also because I do not know how to run it correctly. Then I later on realized that the firm has to run on billing, collection, all have a systematic process and procedures to see that you run it professionally well. And then very important, I learned one thing is, which I want to tell all the professionals, is that when you price yourself, you have to be very careful in pricing yourself also. What I mean is, I will explain to you. If you provide a service, you can charge 500 also. For the quality of work you have done, you can charge 5,000 also. For the same charge, you can also charge 50,000. So how do you price yourself is very important. Over the decades, I learned that job. They learned the technique. Previously, I was stupid to charge $500 where I should have charged 15,000 or 20,000 or $25,000. So how do you price yourself for your professional time spent and professional fees to be charged is a lesson you have to learn in your life. If you learn it correctly, you will not go wrong. And you have to tell the client in advance, this is going to be my cost. This is for the time I'm going to spend. Be honest and transparent to the client in advance. If you get into an engagement letter, mention the fees into that, then you will not go wrong. Sorry, I know that so many things I can tell, but I want to cut short and getting into the more questions. Or we take up one topic, only my past experience of running the profession. Sorry, what is the next question? Kishani. Sir, what is one lesson from your own career journey that you wish more young accountants knew? Not one. I have to tell 2, 3 things. I'll tell you quickly. One, keep mind always that whenever you think and talk, you put yourself in the client's shoes. What the client expects you to do and what the clients want you to do, how fast he wants you to do, and how good the service he expects from you. So put yourself into the client's shoes. Most of the younger generation people doesn't do that. But I'm telling every day to them. Every day when I talk to them, I tell them, put yourself in the client's shoes. That's lesson 1. Lesson 2, keep on learning. The world is changing every day. Keep on learning. Number 3, have a lot of confidence in you. Take responsibility and take decisions. Don't feel that boss is there, go and tell him, please you check on that, you check on that, you check on that. Then why you are there as a manager? Or why you are there as a responsible person which has been delegated the work to you to do it? Take the responsibility. Have self-confidence in you. Keep on learning. The last one to say is develop a good communication skill. Most of you lacking on that. That's what I've noticed in my life. What is communication skill? Communication skill is where you want to tell something, a simple five sentences you want to say. How to start, how to end is most important. All of my staff used to come. I'm not blaming anyone. Don't mistake me, please. I want everyone to be successful in life. They come and stand before me and start talking without telling which client they are talking about. So first tell the name of the client. Then my mind will go and connect to the client. Then start telling, this is communication. This is what I'm saying, communication. Second, say what is the topic. Then go into what is the subject. So communication skill is very important, and it is not easy to develop. I'm not saying everyone is bad. What I am saying is that everyone should improve their communication skill. You'll be very successful in your life. Wherever you work, you have to be very successful. You have to come out with the flying colors. Even you want to start on your own, you should be successful and doing well in your life. What's the next question? What profession would you have chosen if not an accountant? Kanchi. Listen, I told you very clearly when my brother was a chartered accountant, I don't have a choice to think. If I would have choice to think, I would have become a lawyer. I have a fantastic, probably I realized today I have a fantastic analytical mind. With common sense, I do. I will not bend the law to my favor. I always look into what is the purpose of making a law. What is the spirit and the intention of making a law? So when I was studying for my CA also, I don't study notes. I go into the BAR Act, I go into the Banking Act, I go into the Companies Act, I go into the Inheritance Act, estate duty, they call it in India. So basic act I go and read so that you know what is the spirit of the law, what is the purpose of making it. I would have become a lawyer. Understanding that I have an analytical mind, and then I always, not only you are a lawyer to use a common sense. At all times, whether you are a lawyer, accountant, architect, doctor, always have common sense. You will be successful. What's the next one? Beyond academics, what key skills or habit should students develop to succeed as future CAs? Also, what qualities do you believe define a truly successful chartered accountant? I'm telling all these things today now. Beyond academic, what the skills, the skill what you have to develop is general knowledge, and then communication skill. What profession you are, whether you are an accountant or lawyer, communication skill is most important. Basic skills required for everybody. And keep on learning. Knowledge is power. Set aside whatever for reading every day. I feel reading newspaper is good for you. It improves your communication skill. It improves your English. It improves your vocabulary of talking to various people. When 10 people are standing there, you should take up the conversation. You should be the leader in discussion. Sorry, what is the next question? Sir, you have seen changes in accounting landscape over 4 decades, from introduction of accounting standards to AI. Now, what do you think will be the next big change in accounting profession in the next 10 to 15 years? Who is asking this question? Who's asking this question? Bhavna. Bhavna, AI has come. You know, when the computer came, you know about it, chip 8830, 8880. Even to write, even when the telephone came, it was like a big walkie-talkie. I was having the Toshiba first one, paid $3,000. It was like a walkie-talkie. The whole thing has changed. Now today they want to have a frame, aspects in which they want to bring the internet to that, the whole www there, and then China is trying to do operations, medical operations from in remote place through computers, one place to the other. These are the changes happening. One more thing I'm reading today is that solar power need not be coming from solar energy alone. India talks about, I can do it in the night. Singapore talks about, I can do it in the rain also. Impossible is becoming possible. Electricity, they talked about transmission of electricity, you need wire. Today they say through laser we can transfer electricity also without wiring. The world is changing. So I can't predict what is going to happen tomorrow. Anything may happen, but you should be ready to take it, ready to enjoy it, ready to use it, and get the best out of the changes happening around you. I can't predict it. What's the next question? What are some common mistakes or blind spots you have seen mid-career professionals make and how they can avoid them? I honestly told you, you should know how to charge for your time and services. The right price, that's very important. And then I told you the businessman example. You should know how to source a product, you should know how to sell the product, you should know how to manage the finance. So all these three things you have to learn. You have to be good in accounts also and managing the funds. You should know what are the money you have, how you have utilized those money. Money management is also a very, very important thing you should learn in life. For example, you get your salary, you manage a salary. All of a sudden, I give you $1 million. Do you know how to handle it? In Singapore, what happens is 10, 15 years back, all the 55 years old people were given the entire sum, what was in the CPF to their account, like 200,000, 300,000. All of them doesn't know how to manage because they are only getting $3,000, $4,000 salary. At the age of 55, when the government gave $300,000, they spend it in 1 or 2 months. If somebody came and asked, I'm starting a business, they gave 50,000, 100,000, all gone. Now the government decided to not to give it to them, ask them to have a minimum sum, increase the minimum sum. We give you annuity so that the management of the money was in the hands of the government, not with the left to the individual people. What I'm saying is managing money is also an art that you have to learn the skill. But a lot of things are there because due to time and I want to take more questions, I don't want to go in depth, but what best I can answer you, I will do that. Jai Sri Ram, my classmate. How are you, Sri Ram? He's my classmate, he's my guru for teaching me accounts. He's the one who made me to pass CA. We used to study together in the evening. He's the first one to clock in, to listen to me. I sent message to him. I'm grateful that he's listening to my speech. I will listen to his question also. With the advent of AI in accounting, will there be any change in the CA subject for students to learn? Very interesting question. I told you already what are the changes happening. Not only AI, you have so many other things that come into the world which are all coming in, like ESG, sustainability reporting. You have got corporate governance, you have risk, you have all these fintech products. So many things are coming, syllabuses are changing. If AI is going to come, it makes life easier for people to do things faster and quicker, but don't depend on AI totally. What is important in AI is that I want to tell you something. When the computer came into the world, they all said that garbage in and garbage out. In AI also, I want to say that if you ask AI to advise you on something, you should precisely give all the information correctly. If you give a wrong information, you get a wrong answer. You should not feel that you got a wrong answer because you have not fed the information or the question precisely what is expected of you. So I don't feel there will be a big change will happen. Either AI come or tomorrow they call BI. After 2 years they call CIDI. Whatever it comes up in the world. As I started speaking, I said every debit as a credit. Sriram, we studied debit as credit is not going to change. It's like our life. What is going to change is things are going to add to make your life easier. Things are going to come make your life simple. It's not complex. Even complex life will become simpler. But only thing is you should know how to use it, enjoy it, and be comfortable to work along with that. If you are not going to do it, you will be eliminated from the world. What is the problem today facing is that people who are 50s and above, they find it difficult to operate computers and find it difficult to use the AI and get the best out of it. So where you are missing out. Other than that, the basic entries of debit, every debit as a credit is not going to change, but only thing is a lot of things is going to be added on to that to make your life easier, better, comfortable, provided you know how to use it and get on to that. If you're going to be away from that, you are totally away from the world. What's the next one? What leadership lessons have you learned that are especially relevant for those managing teams or client portfolios today? What leadership lessons have you learned that are especially relevant to those managing teams or client portfolio today? What is important is that what is the expectation of the client? That's very important. If you can chew, take it to chew. If you can't chew, don't take it. I give you a best example. If a client comes to me to do, I can do liquidation. If a client comes to me to do a creditors liquidation or a winding up liquidation, which is compulsory liquidation from court, I should say I can learn it and do it. I should also have the bandwidth to do it. It means the supporting staff to do it with me, to work along with me. And in the way that I should not mess up to see the client is going to suffer. So you have the manpower, you have the capability. Suppose a bank calls me and says, can you take up the audit? I should first think to say, I am not capable to do the bank audit. I don't want to do the job. So first you determine whether you have the capability and bandwidth and supporting staff to take up a job to do it. If you don't have, ready to answer that, I don't have manpower to do it. Say, for example, if a bank has to be audited, it only Big Four can do. They have 2,800 staff. There are 500 staff devoted at the banking department to carry out only bank audit. How do you do with 50 staff? You go and do a bank audit. And you do the staff you have are competent, capable, past experience to carry out the audit. The first thing is to say, I cannot chew. I cannot do this audit. I don't have the bandwidth. So you have to be honest and very clear in taking up an assignment. There are a lot of things to say also on that. Portfolio also, you have to be honest, transparent, always ready to, when in doubt, to disclose. So all these qualities you should have. Then the client should have a trust in you. And journey will be very interesting with the client. You can manage the portfolio very well. If you can chew it. That's very important. What's the next question? Vidya Rajagopal, what is the next one? If you are starting your CA journey today, if you are starting your CA journey today, what you do differently given how much the field has evolved? One thing I always think every day, I should have been young by 30 years, 40 years, so that I've got this experience, not only experience, the knowledge, the development of knowledge, way of handling things, way of taking problems, looking into the problems, maturity, capability are all improved. The experience you cannot gain. You have to feel it. Once a problem is told to you, how do you analyze in your mind? It needs experience. So I always feel that even today, I feel that I should be 25 years young. With this same brain, with this same talent, it is impossible. It is difficult. But you can aim for it, work for it, try to achieve as much as possible. Sir, is it possible to become a chartered accountant in Singapore with just ACCA? I told you, ACCA, you should have enrolled as a member with the Singapore Society of Accountants before 2018, and you would have passed the examination if you have not passed advanced account audit, is one of the papers which they are insisting that should be there. If you are not chosen, you right now. Best example in our office is Nanda Kumar. You can talk to him. He's already applied for his certificate of practice. So what I'm saying is that is required. Talk to him. You can get all the answers. I can help you also. What is the next one? Jay Sriram. Sir, is it? Sorry. Okay. Mr. Enam, overall, a very good coverage of important topics within such a short time. Oh, this is a prize you are doing, not a question, right? Thank you. I always remember our golden days, Sriram.
Yeah.
The days, you can open the mic, please. I want him to talk, please. Yes, Sriram, you want to say something? I'll be grateful to you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. All of us can hear you.
It was a very good coverage.
Yes.
Very nice listening to you after a long time.
Okay. Now I want to know about our experience in studying 50 years back.
It cannot be forgotten so easily.
Now I learned accounts from you. That's most important to me, to tell my followers who are all listening to you and me.
Yeah,
it's a very interesting journey.
It's a good thing you are doing all these things. It's a very good talk, which is very useful to the students of the younger age now. Thanks.
Thank you. Very grateful to you, Sriram. We have golden memories. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. What's the next one? That's all, right? Thank you. I think there are no more questions. I'm very grateful to Sriram. I'm also very, very pleased with him asking the last question. And thank you very much for the information you have given us today doing the question and answer. You shared some of your experiences with us. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Grateful to all of you. Thank you.